each business that had been advertised was visited by two men representing a organization called TANE, that's the Texas Alcoholic Narcotics Education Incorporated. These men took pictures of the building, they took pictures of the people, they took pictures of people signing the petitions, and they visited just like a Gestapo fashion each business right after the other, with no apparent reason other than to intimidate these businesses and to make them take the petitions off their counter and to put them under the counter.
In addition to the regular lever-type machines and experimentation with a fleet of punch card devices, about 20 or 25 Tarrant County precincts will have to use paper ballots come the general election. County Clerk Ed Lofton asked court approval today to spend something over $1,000 getting paper ballots printed. That brought quick and pointed reactions from several commissioners, perhaps best summed up by Commissioner Dick Lewis, who said, "Ed, if you knew we were going to need these other 25 machines, you should have told us. We've just messed up here." Lofton blamed rising numbers of registered voters for the lack of sufficient machines. He said one lever machine will handle about 300 voters, a punch card setup about half that many. Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
I think that our removal is to make the committee less controversial, more acceptable, and basically to remove an identification of the committee with what is said to be the plaintiff's side of the case. But I don't see our role as being inconsistent with our service in Dallas Legal Services Project.
Kathlyn, you've been known to be outspoken. Do you feel this is one of the reasons why you were taken off of the committee today?
Well, very definitely, June. I feel that that's the main reason, and in that I have not gone on with many things that the Dallas Independent School District has done in terms of school desegregation, and I never will. And the only thing that bothers me is that, you know, we are not getting the truth about why we have been removed from the committee.
At an afternoon news conference, Schrader admitted the city manager's office was an opportunity he had sought. He came to Dallas 6 years ago as an assistant city manager and previously served as the city manager in Mesquite. And now in Dallas, he's reached his goal.
I'm honored. It's a great compliment to be offered this opportunity in this great city. It's awesome because it carries with it the burden and the responsibility of justifying the decision that this city council has made.
But Schrader's current boss isn't through yet. McDonald says he'll stay on as city manager until the end of the year. McDonald has served with the city of Dallas for the past 30 years and now is nearing retirement age. He indicated his future plans are indefinite, but said he is considering a university position. Jack Hill, Channel 8 News on the Move.
We can't say they're the biggest flagpoles in the world, even if they are for the Texas State Fair, but as of today, they must be the newest. The two 80-foot steel poles were built by the Texas Flagpoles Company in Fort Worth and were placed in front of the electric building this morning. The electric building used to have two wooden flagpoles in front of it, but these new poles are among the largest in the state and can withstand winds of 150 miles an hour. Besides, they offered an opportunity for Miss Tall, Texas, Lynn Garrett of Dallas, to run the Lone Star flag up the flagpole to commemorate the event. It was enough to remind everyone that the fair gets underway this coming Saturday, and if everything is going to be in shape for the annual crowds, they'd better hurry. The midway tents and booths are going up as usual, but work crews are still busy with redecorations and construction, especially in the area of the livestock pens and the electric building. In fact, the refurbishing of the electric building, which dates from the 1930s, should make it feel right at home with the 72 edition of the fair. The theme this year is the dazzling 30s. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move.
Well, I think I better not answer that.
Well, are you glad to see him go, or you think you'd like to have him hang
I'm glad
around?
he's still with the organization. Let's say it that way. Don't that sound good?
Well, I think he's done a fine job this year, even though we've lost a lot of games. And I think it's his decision to make.
I'm glad he left. He's a good ball player, but he's a hell of a manager. That's personal.
Well, he's supposed to stay around as, maybe as a scout or something like this. You think that might help the ball club?
I don't think so, because he's got no personality. He spits on umpires and everything else years ago. I'm an old-time baseball fan.
So you know a lot about baseball?
Well, not everything, but I know quite a bit.
You know anything about managing baseball?
No, I won't manage it.
But you do feel like Williams did not do a good job?
Right.
Could you do any better?
Well, I try like hell.
Thank you.
The council voted unanimously to apply for the funds for a transportation system for the airport known as SURTRAN. The application with Dallas is for $2,274,000. There was some opposition to the move, though. Lloyd Stimson, a member of the Fort Worth Taxpayers Association, calls the plan a white elephant and a waste of money. He recalled that Fort Worth could not generate enough air traffic in the 50s and 60s to keep Greater Southwest Airport open. City Manager Roger Lyons said the economic blow dealt Fort Worth by the fact the city is not convenient to Love Field by ground transportation should not happen again. The council agreed. SURTRAN will serve both cities through buses, limousines, and taxicabs, 45 in all. Fort Worth will have to provide matching funds of $170,400. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move in Fort Worth.
Yes, sir. I feel that it's the new ordinance that they have passed for adoption today is unconstitutional because it makes a complete play out of the word free enterprise. It totally eliminates it because all the preferential treatment is going to be given to the Dallas Transit Service.
Oh, this is a marathon trampoline bounce, and it's going to last for 24 days. Proceeds will be given to Wallace Village, which is a home in Colorado for retarded children.
And you're starting the bounce?
I'm starting the bounce.
Okay, while we talk about this, why don't you go ahead and get started?
All right.
How long do you think you can keep this up?
We're going to go for 24 days, and I'm going to do it for about an hour.
Who's going to be working in the middle of the night?
Everybody!
Can you do something a little more fancy than just bouncing up and down if I take the mic off your neck?
Might be able to.
Right.
The chairs on the front porch of the Prather home have rocked side by side for some 40 years, but Mr. and Mrs. Prather had been married almost that long before they bought them. Irene and Jack were just teenagers when they married on October the 2nd, 1895, in Waco, Texas. The journeyman paper hanger brought his bride to Dallas at the turn of the century, and they've been together ever since. Miss Prather, what did you think of Jack the first time you met him?
Oh, I just thought he's the dirtiest thing I ever looked at. He just come from a tin shop where he'd worked all day.
Well, you married him anyway. What made you decide to marry him?
Oh, he primed up after that and come the next night to see me. I thought he's good looking.
How old were you when you got married?
15.
My goodness. Well, what do you think of him now after 77 years of marriage?
I think he's a pretty good old fella.
Mr. Prather, what makes a couple be able to live together for 77 years? What is your secret?
Well, early in married life, we decided on live our married lives on a 50-50 basis. That means responsibilities divided on both sides and work together. Now, she would have the home to look out for. I'd have the outside. We never criticized each other for a mistake. If we made one, we would never throw it up and say, I told you so. We didn't do that.
Mrs. Prather still has her original wedding band, although it's now a bit too large. Several years ago, her husband offered to replace it with a diamond ring, but she said she'd just as soon stay with the one she got 77 years ago. For Channel 8 News on the Move, this is Judy Hanna.